Good afternoon, everyone. Today it's May 7th, 2025, and this is the Evan Studios Weekly Podcast, episode 16, season 2. I'm your host, Stark, and I said I will be exhausted, and I am. Let me just take off the sound of the cell phone so we don't get interrupted. So first things first, I don't even know how big this podcast is gonna be today. I honestly didn't plan for it. Completely forgot that we are already on Wednesday. But first and foremost, I want to say hi to everybody in chat. What's up, Aaron? I want to say thanks to everybody that is listening to us live, and those who will listen to us later. Soul Survivor. Your nickname is not strange to me, but I can't put. I know you are, but at the same time I don't remember. First things first, we probably need to talk about the Journey Abroad patch. Well, I wouldn't say that we were met with like technical difficulties. It's just that it was like simply like a lack of assessment of how much time it will take us to do stuff. Like we haven't been put in this position in a long time, where being at the beginning of developing games. It's been over 10 years since we started developing Fleeting Hours, and I know that at the time we needed like many months to get the first few things initially, and initially it was very rough. There was a lot of stuff, especially for people that still have the old patches. I know that some of you still have really early development Fleeting Hours patches in your computers, and obviously there was a lot of things that changed. There were bugs, there were conflicting scripts, there were different menus. The game plays completely different from what it is today, and of course a semblance of what it used to be is still there. There's still some stuff that we didn't get rid of, that we didn't improve, and as such the early game is really rough, but we honestly thought we could do things a lot faster than we're doing, and now we're dealing with a little bit of a bottleneck situation where everybody underestimated how much work they needed to do. So just so you guys have like an idea, I gave a piece of work for Isaac to do, which he usually does stuff like this in super fast, maybe like a day tops 2. And I gave him, and it's like, okay, so now we need to like add these 5 days and whatnot, and do this and this and this. And Isaac, at the end of the day, I was like, okay, so you weren't able to finish. Okay, that's fine. How long? How much longer do you feel like you're gonna need to finish it? Like tomorrow morning, you're gonna be done? And it's like, bro, you gave me 5 days. I'm gonna be honest. The whole day that you saw me work, I was only able to get 1 day done. And that's because all the time there's something that happens that in Fleeting Hours, it's like we had the assembly line. If this happens, we have a script to do this, we have a script to do this, we have a script to do this, everything works, everything is in place. Now it was like, okay, we need to create a script and a common event for this. Now we need to create a script and a common event for this. And stuff that we used to take for granted that was just there in Fleeting Hours is just not there when it comes to making to creating Journey Abroad. And not only that, there's some things that happen while we're developing that we're like, oh man, remember when we did this early game on Fleeting Hours, and later down the road when we got issues, we thought, hey man, we're definitely going to come back and find a way to fix this. Well, this is happening right now, and it's just we look at each other like, if we don't fix this right now, if we don't if we don't find a solution for this now, even though this is not going to be a problem now, when it becomes a problem, it's going to become a huge problem. For instance, just for you to get an idea of things that can be way too complicated. RPG Maker works in a way where you cannot just create events out of nowhere. You cannot create events out of thin air. You need to have an event in game, and then you need to give him like a face, and then you need to give it like a position, and then it shows up in the map. You can't have one event control a bunch of different people in the map. That's not how it works. All events in the map have to be accounted for. They need to be their own event. The problem is that there's some events in the game. For instance, in the first day of school, your character gets punched in the throat, like first day of school. Like literally as soon as you step into school, first 2 minutes you get punched in the face. So the way this happens is, just spoil a little bit, you arrive at the university and there's a huge crowd making a circle. You try to figure out what it is, and then there's this dude that is about to beat up another dude. And you try to intervene, like, hey dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, chill. And then you end up getting punched instead of this dude. That event has something like 40 events, like 40 characters. Not to say more, but it has like basically 40 characters spread around the map. Isaac started by creating an event for each one of those 40 characters, which came with a lot of issues. And I said, listen, well, I don't want to explain to you guys like the technical jargon and what happens, but basically those events will be in places where other stuff needed to be, and shit was going to become confusing and whatnot. And I was like, listen, here's what we can do. We can probably, instead of like creating those as events, we can make like an image overlay that we put in the map. And we can do, and then we were like presenting ways to do it, and it's like, okay, but this map is not finished. I know you're going to change it. The problem is, if we do this map for this, and then we create like a copy of this map, and the players will have the illusion that they're in the main map because it looks the same. But for this event specifically, we make this event in another map that looks exactly like this one, and just for this event, we make the event all happen in another map, but it looks like the same map, so the players think they're in this map, but behind, programming wise, it's a different map. And then it's like, listen, if you do that for every big event that happens in the university, and we will do this because the same shit happened in Fleeting Iris, if you open the project, you will see that there's an area that called like just events, and then there's a bunch of copies of maps with just events. The problem is, afterwards, if you end up deciding to change one of those maps, all the maps that you made copies or that were copies of the original map, you have to make those edits in every single one of them. And that's just one of the issues that comes with that solution. So most of what we did at lunch, because at some point it was we started working at about 1 p.m. we went out to lunch, and basically we just spent the whole lunchtime just discussing how are we going to fix this, and eventually said, I think there's a Unfly script that might be able to circumvent that situation, whatever. But all this stuff is something that in Fleeting Iris we will just be, listen, just put the characters there, create an event, whatever. The problem is that causes a ton of issues. That causes lag, that causes bugs, that causes a ton of fucking issues. And in the university, it was creating the events over the windows. I need the window space because when you are able to access the university at night, I'm going to create events in the windows because the players will be able to see through. So the windows during the day, they are reflective. But at night, if someone turns the lights on, you will be able to see what's going on inside those buildings. Like for people that played the very first version of Journey Abroad, you already seen this. I don't remember if it was Journey Abroad or if it was Bloodlust. But basically, if you play the very first version, you already see how this works, how it is put in place. And I told, listen, there's all these issues, and then there were a bunch of other issues like we were able to create some super cool effects and some super cool scripts, some reflection shit and whatnot. And we spent a lot of time making everything compatible between each other's. So something that we're doing right now is we basically cut one of our programmers, the least experienced, and honestly it didn't feel like working in JavaScript to begin with. It was just trying it for the sake of helping us early on, and it was useful early on, but we were like, listen, we're going to keep you working when it is the Fleeting Hours remake and whatever, but the other scripter already did all these scripts and whatever, and he's able to make them like work nicely with one another and whatnot. So we're gonna stick with that. So it was super cool. Yeah, we talked. It was like, yeah, dude, 100%. I'll be ready when it's the Fleeting Hours remaster. We're gonna remake a bunch of all the menus and whatever to make it look cool. So it was everything very amicable. But after we did the hard part, which was making all the scripts play nice with each other and have zero conflicts and whatnot, we're like, oh man, this is great. We will be able to have all these nice things in the game. I already spoiled a few to our team, in our launch, some of the options that we had in the game. I might actually, let me see if I can actually play one of them for you guys. Give me just 1 second, see if I have the video here. Evan was making fun of me because I use my cell phone to post the video, but the reason why I did that is because apparently what happens here is RPG Maker kind of doesn't play nice with recording software for whatever reason. At least the RPG Maker MV doesn't play nice with recording software. So I'm not able to transmit that directly, but I'm gonna go here just to give you guys an idea. This was there was a bunch of maps and shit. Yeah, okay, let me see if I can or download this video and play it or something. Let me give me a second. Yeah, I can download this video and I'm gonna play it for you guys. Let me just give OBS permission to access my video player. And this was a map that we already have mostly finished. It doesn't look like that anymore. Let me just window capture and let me add whatever this is called, because I don't remember the name of this. I think this is Pop Player Mini. There we go, perfect. So let me just make sure that nothing adult is here, but I don't think it is. I think that's perfect. Tell me if you guys can see it. I'll just check. Yeah, okay, I can see it. So just to give you guys an idea, so this is the university map, or at least it was back in the day. The red crosses, don't notice, like, don't pay attention to that. My problem with that is that we wanted to make a bifurcated stairwell where you will enter through a center section and then it will split both ways. It's the one I had in my old university, and I thought it will look great. And then you will be able to walk below the stairwell to be able to access another area. But I have tried like dozens of different alternatives to make this look cool and whatever. It doesn't look cool at all in any situation. I will show you how it looks like. I think the character walks. There we go. You see how it kind of splits and then it was supposed to turn around and whatever. I tried a bunch of different shit, bro. It doesn't work, bro. It looks horrible. And I'm a pretty decent sprite. Like, I made a lot of assets for the game. I'm a pretty decent sprite editor. I'm a pretty decent sprite creator. But I can't get it to work. I can't get it to look good. But then we were also discussing, and we're like, listen, between Journey Abroad and Bloodlust, we're probably gonna need like three floors, like 3 floors at least, and we need to get an elevator, bro. Like, people can go like boom bap, you're there, it's realistic, elevator looks great. Let's get an elevator in there. So basically what we might end up doing is make like a central stairwell that leads upstairs, and then on the left side we will make a path that leads to the center of the screen, of the university, which will be kind of like the outdoor center area where people do, gymnastics or shit like that. And then on the right side, instead of like a passage, we're probably going to add an elevator there. So that's there. In the beginning of the game, you're going to get a tutorial which is going to explain the layout of the school. Nothing in here is arbitrary. For instance, just to give you an idea of how we're going to plan this out, you guys will see that we have class 1011 on the left side where I have the mouse. I think you guys can see the mouse over there. That's for both Vincent Perino. Also, welcome to the chat. This map will be it's interchangeable. It's going to be there in both games. So this part is important. We didn't create the school arbitrarily, and there's going to be a tutorial about it early game. But basically, it's like this: the class 1011. This is not random. We want people to be able to find stuff in school very easily. So with that said, class 1011 means building 1, floor 0, section 1, room 1. So basically, building 1, it's the main building of the university. We're going to have building 2, which is going to have the library and whatnot, and the gymnasium and whatever. And we're going to have building 3, which is going to be the cafeteria, whatever. So building 1 will be the main building. Then you will have the floor. This is pretty self-explanatory. If you're in the ground floor, you're in floor 0. If you go up the stairs, you're going to be on floor 1. If you go up another floor, you're going to be on floor 2. And after, it's going to be it's going to be class 1, 2, 1, 1, for instance. The one after that is the section. So this left section of the university is going to be section 1. This area over here to the right is going to be section 2. The area afterwards, if you go to the end of the wall in section 1 and then you go up, this whole area in this area that you're going to see later, it's going to be section 3, and the same on the other side is going to be section 4. And finally, it's the room. So basically, on the above side, you're going to see odds, and on the bottom side, you're going to see evens. So this is going to be 1011, 1013, 1015, right? And this is going to be 1012, 1014, 1016. So basically, this number is not random. And once you figure out what the number means, if people tell you you need to be in class 1, 2, 1, 3, you will be like, okay, so building 1, floor 2, section 1, third room. So basically, it will be this room right here, but 2 floors up, right? Once you get that, which might be kind of tricky early on, sure, but not only that, we want to somewhat hold the hand of our player. You're going to be having like a journal where you can read stuff that you need to do, and the schedule, which a schedule is going to play like a schedule, but it's also going to play like a hint, like, hey, don't forget that you need to meet this character, or you have this class, or whatever. So if you feel lost, you can go look at the schedule. Oh, right, I have a class in room whatever of whatever. So let's play a little bit more of the video. It's only 14 seconds, and you will notice that the things above the room are disappearing, as well as the animated arrows. And the reason why that is happening is because some of the stuff that we have in game is you can toggle it. So the message log, which is working absolutely better than the one in Fleeting Hours, it looks absolutely amazing. You can turn it on or off by just pressing 1 in your keyboard. We also made a script that allows us to assign any keys to any piece in the keyboard. So you will be able to like teleport by pressing 1 key. You will be able to turn off the assist mode, which is what you see in the screen. You will be able to turn it on and off with just 1 button. You will be able to turn on and off I don't know, like quick save and stuff like that. You will be able like turn on the dialog box so you can see images better and whatever. All of this will be assigned to your to your number keys. So you will be able to easily turn them on and off, and and this effect will happen if you press it. See, it turns on and off just like that. And we think it's going to be super cool because there's a lot of information there that won't allow the player to get lost, but at the same time, if it's working against your immersion, and if you don't want to see the letters in there and whatnot, you can just easily turn it off, and that'll be that. We are being very careful about the layout architecturally of the university. We want to make stuff look sense. For instance, we want the players to intuitively be able to find stuff, even though I already explained that everything that you see is not like arbitrarily added to the game. There's a logic for it, and once you understand that logic, which will be explained via tutorial, once you understand that logic, you will be able to find everything like super fast. And for instance, every floor is going to have the restrooms, and the restrooms are going to be always in the same place, which is on the left section, exactly on that spot. So basically you're going to have 2 floors above this, and then obviously there's going to be rooms that are going to be used for one game, and some that are going to be used for Bloodlust, and others for Journey Abroad. For instance, the janitor locker, or the room where the janitor sleeps, obviously is going to see more. It's going to be to see more usage in Bloodlust, which we already have a route for it. Other than Journey Abroad. So a lot of the work that we're doing now is already pushing the envelope for Bloodlust, which basically again, most of the stuff that we're doing, it's bottlenecking, because right now all that is left to do, there's very little left for me to do, like very, very little. Basically right now I'm just waiting on other people to finish their stuff, but at the same time, for Bloodlust, we still have the CG team working on the bus and whatnot. So I was kind of hoping that they get the final bus done to this week, and then maybe we can work in like 2 or 3 anti-scenes to be able to release at the end of the month. Obviously they're going to be very milled, since there's going to be progressive corruption in the game. You're not going to see like copious amounts of sex early on for whatever reason. No, you might see like some groping, some light stuff, but we want to have that in the game right away in at the end of the month. And also Muko has already kind of like drawn a character for Isaac to test with the animation that we talked about, I think, in the last podcast. I think if it wasn't the last podcast, it was like 2 podcasts ago. I showed you guys like this new animation style that we wanted to use as the battlers. I mean, might not be finished, but can I add this? Like, I'm gonna try and save the image. Give me a second. Might be better to save the image and show you guys. So this image, I don't have the final version on my computer right now, but wait, what did I do? Cancel that. Yep, cancel that. That's not meant to be there. I'm meant to fucking upload an image. Where is it? Give me a second. Okay, here we go. So basically we wanted to create an animated jazz. So this is just to give you guys a reminder of what we're adding. So basically the CG team has already finished the jazz for the animation style, but unfortunately Isaac is one of the people that has the most work to do right now for Journey Abroad. And Isaac always has the issue where he has 2 kids to take care of and whatnot. So things might have slowed down a little bit, but we're almost done. It's just we are taking a little bit longer than we initially anticipated, because a lot of things happened where we just didn't have any idea how much work will be involved. We just, it's like working on Fleeting Hours. We just assumed it will be just go there, boom boom bap, and it's done. And we did alert that early game development can get like super tricky. Also, I just realized that boot is like completely misaligned. Like your knees facing a direction and the laces are facing a completely different direction. Yeah, that's gonna have to be fixed. But again, like, we did this image for we created this image only to test the battler animation system. Reminder that we are not going to add the animated battlers this patch. This is something that will come out 3 months from now. So basically we have we should have a Journey Abroad release very soon, and at the end of this month, May, we will still have the Bloodlust release. And then in the end of June, we're gonna have another Journey Abroad release, which should add the first batch of anti-scenes, like 3 or 4. And then in July, we will have another Bloodlust patch, and in that one, we should be able to finally introduce a little bit of the battle system, even if it's just a short tutorial mission. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm just so tired. I woke up like 5 a.m. and it's 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. in Portugal. So just asking for a little bit of comprehension. I'm so sorry. I know it's incredibly rude to yawn like that, but I'm just exhausted. But yeah. But Isaac right now is obviously working on the priority, which is Journey Abroad, and especially because the battle system is not gonna be in the game in the first patch of Bloodlust, which comes at the end of the month. So with that being said, soon we will be able to show you guys, because Isaac is super excited to finally test this out and see how it works. So soon I will be able to show you guys some teasers of the battle system and how it works, and that's going to be like super cool. But right now Isaac is working on other stuff, and basically that's a lot of what's happening in our company right now, which is this person is busy working on this other stuff, this person is busy working on this other stuff. Yeah, this video is done, and there's a bunch of other maps that I could tease you guys with. I could probably show you. Let's see what I have here for you guys. But yeah, also we have a bunch of polls going on right now in Discord for everybody that is a supporter, like a bunch of polls. And yeah, it will be important for the future of the game if you guys could participate in those polls. Also, reminder that there's a poll that is only available on Patreon and Subscribestar to decide basically the skin complexion of the main antagonist in Bloodlust, which the last time I checked, it's closer now. It's 58% versus 42%, which is still similar to the original results. So it doesn't seem like they were skewed by multiple offer or vote diffusion. But yeah, once we're done with Journey Abroad, which we should be very close to, we wanted to add, but we basically did the whole first week. We wanted to add the weekend, but it will involve adding like so many more maps to the game and code them and do a lot of stuff. So originally we thought we should do it, and we discussed and we're like, yeah, absolutely, let's do this, like we can do this, it's not a big deal. And then we saw how much Isaac struggled with creating maps early on, when there's not a bunch of common events in place, when there's a bunch of scripts that we still don't have in game, and a lot of stuff that we took for granted in Fleeting Hours, that it felt like, yeah, okay, I'm taking way longer to create stuff that originally it wouldn't, in Fleeting Hours it wouldn't take this much time to do. So yeah, I'm gonna download this map and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show this map to you guys, just so you guys can have a couple teasers. I already showed a lot of these images to our CG team, to the team in our Discord. But yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show this again. I explained also why this will also be great to explain to you guys some of the issues that we are currently having. So this is going to be the final version of the university. Well, you know, final version in terms of layout. It's going to have a bunch of improvements, and hence why we don't want to make like a copy of this map, so that we can so that later on we are forced to make the changes in all of the maps. So let me try and like no fit to screen. Oh, okay. So yeah, obviously considering that it's huge. So basically, beforehand, I think that we had all the way up until the restrooms on the left side. And what happens if I do? What the hell did I just do? Okay, that's definitely not what. Okay, yeah, that's also definitely not what I wanted to do. But this is more or less the right size. So basically, I think we added all the way up until here where the lockers end. We expanded. That way on the right side is going to lead to the cafeteria. Here we have the medical center, which you're going to end up in the first day. This part is already finished, but this is going to be like a new section with more classes. This is going to be the central area over here. And then over here we're going to have the restrooms. Again, upstairs it's going to be the same stuff. The restrooms are going to be in the same place. And this is going to lead to the the indoor gymnasium. This is going to lead to another place in the university that is not available yet, and this is going to be a couple more classes. And then upstairs we're going to have the teacher's lounge, we're going to have the principal's office, we're going to have the janitor's room. There's going to be a bunch of other stuff upstairs, like computer rooms and computer classes and art classes and whatever. So yeah, this is an example of one of the maps that we have mostly finished at this point. This one I already teased to explain one of the issues that we had in the game, which was creating a bunch of lag. So this map was heavily parallaxed, this area, this whole area behind here. And actually this area doesn't look like this anymore, like at all. Give me a second, because we already improved that area over there. Let me see if I have it over here. Yeah, okay, yeah, here it is. That's the wrong map. Let me see if I can actually just override it like this, and if it works. What happens if I do this? Does it get updated it did get updated in the stream. So as you see, this area over here is basically the cafeteria area where you can purchase food. And yeah, now it's obviously like more populated. And one of the things that we did was, you see these lights that we have over here. Basically, this whole light system, we will have it where we will be able to show the day during like morning, evening, night, if it's raining outside, whatever. And we will also be able to make the light move depending on the time of the day. Most of this shit make the game lag like fuck, which was the point that I was making like 20 minutes ago, where I was saying that we finally got some scripts to work with each other. We did, and that was super cool, and the scripts were finally playing with each other. And then we had them tested in lower end computers, like laptops and whatnot, and it completely froze the game. Like it makes low end computers lag like shit. And then you have to make a decision. Like, you can either try to chop whatever you're doing and find ways to do it where it's not as intensive on the computer, or, you know, at times you're just forced to abandon what originally was a super nice idea. So yeah, we had to chop the whole lights moving and whatnot. So basically, there was a super nice script that some people actually got to see in place. But unfortunately, we won't be able to have it in game. We will still have all sorts of like events where you will see day and night. When it becomes spring, you will see like this whole section become more pink and more flourish and whatnot. You will be able to see when it's raining. There's basically a bunch of stuff that we can add. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken, but I might not be. So let me just check, because I have an example of what will happen over here. Let me see if I still have it. So yeah, basically this is the easiest way we do it now. We just create an overlay and then tint the screen to become darker. And this is just an example of what can happen. Obviously, this part is coded to appear in front of this part, so don't worry. This will be all properly aligned, and then the lights will the lights will become dark and whatever. And this was like the workaround that we found. This was the only workaround that we found, instead of creating like a super nice event and whatever that will change. And this was not the first or second or third time where we had to make a compromise of let go of something that was cool. Like, as you guys know, there was a whole script where we will create a reflection. So let me give you guys. This might not be a teaser. It might be. I'm just going to get this picture over here. I'm also going to. I'm just in this. I'm in a spoiling mood. So I'm gonna spoil you guys a bunch and just give you an idea of what goes through developing, and what can go like good and what can go wrong, and and I'm gonna try only spoiling the ones that I already spoiled to my team, so I just don't over spoil everybody that is watching. Also, if you don't like spoilers, this will be the part 2. See you guys next week. I love you regardless. Thank you so much for showing up. So let me try and get the stuff that I wanted to get. So yeah, this is an example. This is a part of a much bigger map, which is the entrance of the university. And as you guys see, there's like a fake reflection. Now basically at least the chairs are reflected in there. It actually looks good, and the chairs are actually reflected in there. But this was supposed to be real-time reflection. Anything that happened in front, if an NPC walk in front of the mirror, if you walk in front of the mirror, everything that happened in front of the mirror will get a real-time reflection. Not good for computers, bro. Yeah, if you have like a recent computer that is mid-range with like a 3080 Ti that from at least like 1 or 2 years ago, cool. If you have like an old computer, like with even something with like a 1080 Ti and like 12th gen CPU and whatever, just yeah, it's gonna shit itself. We're still gonna have that cool idea that I had, where if it's night and someone turns on the lights, you will be able to see through. We are able to do that through an event and make it a lot easier by creating a script that directly reflects our character. We were gonna make one where you will see like the grass move when you walk in the grass, and you will see like depending on like different if you were stepping on grass, or if you were stepping on like rock or whatever, you will hear like different sounds and whatever. All of that shit lags, bro, like so much. And conceptually, it doesn't take a lot of time to do. Sure, you need to find the sounds, you need to do this and that, but it's not hard to apply. But then you come up with the script, you test it, you make sure it plays nice with every other script in the testing, and then you take it to the stress test, and then suddenly, boom, it makes old computers lag. And I can't like alienate a huge chunk of our player base. It's not even a matter of, oh, these people pay for the game or whatever. No, man, it's more, It's more organic than that. I just don't want people to lag while they're playing the game. Like, I'm creating a game first and foremost because I want to create games because I'm passionate for creating games, and I want people to enjoy my creation. I don't want people to be struggling. I hate lagging in games. Like, even if it's not a multiplayer game and lagging doesn't make it like, oh, I'm playing a shooter and I'm dying because I'm lagging and others can fire a few milliseconds faster than me. No, it's not like that. Even if it's not competitive, nobody likes to play a game and lag. Like, your character will be stuttering. It breaks immersion. It becomes like frustrating, and I don't want to create frustrating, man. That's not why I'm in this business. I'm in this business to create good memories for people. I'm not in this business to to frustrate our players. Brother Black, what's up, bro? Glad this is getting addressed. I play these adults only games straight up on my laptop. Yeah, man, and some people play them on cell phones and whatnot, and I don't want to make this like a horrible experience for everyone, man. Like, yeah, that's, as a developer, it's like you spend a lot of time on stuff that, oh my god, this looks so great, and then it is what it is. Oh yeah, this was, there you go. This was all kind of like how it was supposed to go to look with the tint. This is just conceptual art from early back then. Yeah, you guys can probably tell that we're putting a lot of time and love into this, and trying to make everything look super cool. Let me go and spoil you guys a little bit more with some more goodies. Yeah, this is the infirmary where you're gonna meet this character. It's gonna be like where you meet her. You're gonna get punched in the first day, and you will be able to meet the nice doctor. Well, she's not very nice, but she'll be nicer down the road in her own way, I guess. This is a classroom where you're going to be able to meet the very caliente. Well, I could say Spanish teacher, but she's like Latin. She's not Spanish teacher. You're studying politics. And she is one of your politics teachers. So basically, your character is going to your character is going to college to study. I think this explains early game, so I kind of don't want to spoil it. But basically, you're going to be studying something like you're going to be studying political science and whatnot, because you want to become a politician and whatever. And then she's going to be, if I recall correctly, your introduction to international relations teacher. And this is when you meet her, and basically, well, we were just testing chairs because I was working on our own chairs and our own tables at the time. This picture was taken way back when we were working on some of the assets, because we wanted the characters to look realistic when they were like sitting down and whatnot. Realistic in the sense that, I know that when you play a lot of games like this, basically sometimes these characters are standing in their seats and shit like that, and we didn't want to do that. So yeah, basically this is where you meet her. Let me try and put this on top of, here we go. So yeah, this is basically another super cool map. What else? Let me see what else I can spoil for you guys. Wait, what is this window capture doing here? Do I still need this? I don't think I need this. Let me delete this. Let me be a little bit more spoily. See what I can spoil you guys with. Oh yeah, basically the restrooms that you saw on the left, with the little condom buying machines and whatnot. This was also added, and this was originally made where this super big wall was actually dividing the two restrooms. But while this is not important, or at least for now in Journey Abroad, later down the road in Bloodlust there's going to be basically there's a glory hole here. And this is going to be important in Bloodlust. So we wanted to make something that visually it worked, So it took us a while to align this and make sure that that this was working as intended. And eventually, basically, Eve is going to find. She's going to be sitting in this stall, and she's going to find one of her female students doing stuff with the male student that is in this stall right here. And afterwards, there's a few outcomes which will be decided by the player how to interact with that whole situation. But yeah, this is a teaser of the restrooms. And yeah, I wanted to show that part specifically because that part will be important. It will lead to an enticing. Some of this stuff, like, I'm not showing you the other classrooms because they are all slightly different from one another in a way or other. But one of the classrooms, for instance, has a big locker here, where you can easily you can see that you can easily fit like people in there. And that locker is going to be important in Journey Abroad, because there's going to be a scene where you hide in a locker with another person. A lot of what you see here in the map, sometimes it feels, it might look like, it's just there. It's just there to look cool or whatever. And sometimes it's a lot more than that. Sometimes if there's like a hidden alleyway, or if there's a specific design on something, like for instance when you saw just now in the restrooms, sometimes it's not there randomly, it's there by design, because it's important for one reason or another. I'm already thinking in enticings that might happen, short term, mid term, long term, and I'm already taking those into account. Like one of the classes that I'm working on right now, as which you won't see this patch, but it's a big ass amphitheater. So since I'm at this point, again, we're bottlenecking. There's not a lot for me to do right now. So what I'm trying to do is advanced work already for future patches. And one of the things that I'm trying to do right now is make an amphitheater, or trying to fit an amphitheater. I never saw it done in RPG Maker, and I'm not even entirely sure how it's going to work. But there's an amphitheater, and the podium needs to be like considerably tall. And the reason for this is because there's going to be a scene where someone is below the podium doing things to the person that is basically doing the speech. So funny enough, a lot of these design choices that might seem like random or arbitrary are not. They are there for a very specific reason, and they were built or designed in a specific way for already a specific scene that I know that is going to happen later down the road. And this happens on a lot of things that people, it might seem innocuous at first. It might seem like it's not a big deal. It's not a big situation why this was built this way or whatever. But often that's not the case. Often I'm already building a certain building in a certain way, because I'm already expecting to do. Sorry again. I'm already expecting to do specific scenes. For instance, the whole area in the park in Fleeting Iris where IMA goes to kind of like do the exhibitionism thing. The hobos area that we were doing early on was always being planned to be used, even though it was only used after the game was done. Almost, it was one of the free roam scenes. It was always planned to be there. The slums, we had the DLC planned for Miami there, but then we had to like postpone it until we have funds to be able to work on it. So there's a lot of design choices that go through this that go through the creation process that people never see or never never think much of it. So yeah, there's a lot of work that is done that you guys will never get to see. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of human error. Just not doing a correct assessment of of how long something is going to take, or we're going to do something not like how it's done and redo, or create something that in the end for whatever reason can't be in the game. All of this happens early game, and to be fair, I did say that early on it will be kind of messy, especially early game, because we're doing a lot of stuff that only becomes a chore and only becomes a problem early game. Especially since we switched engines, we're doing everything from scratch. But even though this is being a little bit of a rough start, I'm sure that it's the only thing that I've always said is, even if we come out with a later release or whatever it is, every single time people can accuse us when they play the game that they can see where the time has went to, where basically all the love, all the passion that we put into the game, the quality, like once people finally get to play the game, they can easily tell, oh, okay, I can see why they spent this much time working in the game. And I'm sure people saw it, especially in our latest releases, the shoulder patch for Fleeting Iris and in the Christmas patch for Fleeting Iris. They were huge. The dialogue was super cleaned up, and there's just so much technical stuff being added into the game. And here it's the same thing. We're still creating scripts, we're still creating maps. It's completely different experience for us. And as a project manager, I can only make an assessment based on what information I have. And we made a poor assessment, and we're still working on it. Hopefully we can release it something like Friday. If not, again, a weekend gives us 3 more days. I wish I didn't have to work to do it on weekend, especially since on Saturday I have basically the 2 biggest teams in Portugal play, and they are tied, and this game is going to decide who is going to win the championship. So that's going to be super fucking cool. But if work is first, work will be first, and it is what it is. Yeah, so no one is more excited to release this other than us. We have been working tirelessly. This is only half true. We are exhausted. We just wanna, because then after this, we're snowballing so hard, because I can tell that Isaac is exhausted to the point where this morning he was like, bro, are you sick? Because no one in my family is sick, and I'm feeling sick-ish, and you were the only person that I've been with. And I'm like, no, bro, I'm tired, but I'm fine. Like, I've done my part. Because that's kind of like something that happens every patch. Once you would get your part done, because obviously there's multiple people working in the game, and everybody has their part to do. But once I finish my part, once I get my part done, I'm like, there's a huge weight that gets off my shoulders. I'm like, okay, I'm done. My job is done. My responsibility is done. And then it's like a huge amount of stress, a huge amount of heavy weight. It just gets off your shoulders. And I was like, bro, I was tired, but I'm fine now. Like, it's on you. Good luck. And Ace feeling exhausted, which is, I understand why he's exhausted. And it's funny when he says, I only finished the first day, and I'm looking at him, and I've seen him work the whole day. It was working from like 9 a.m. till like 7 p.m. He was working on the game, and I know how much work he's putting into it, but stuff just takes time. And maybe it was wrong on me on making an assessment. He also thought he will be able to do things a lot faster, but he kind of was boycotted yesterday by his kids. Just had to do a lot of stuff. But this type of stuff just snowballs, because then it's like you're tired, but you need to finish the game, so you keep working. But then you get exhausted, and then the next day you're working exhausted, and you're not producing as fast as you should. But you did this because you barely get any rest, because you're too worried about making the game, so you can't rest. But you also can output like 200% of your energy, because like you can always work at some rhythm. But once your energies are recharged, once you have had a nice night's sleep, and you're not worried about deadlines and whatever, you are able to work faster. You are sharper. You're doing all that. But once you get to the point where, oh man, I wish I could have already released this. Let's just work extra hard so we can. And once you work extra hard, it's like that shit works if you're almost there. When you're not almost there, the extra hard is paid extra hard down the line. So if you think that you're going to release something tomorrow or whatever, you're like, okay, listen, it's just one day, let me try and like go real hard, and maybe tomorrow I release and then I rest. But then you don't release, and then you're already tired, and you're pushing for more release, and then you're exhausted, but you have to release, and you're not resting, and you're not working, and you're not doing either of them, because you can't rest until you are finished your work, and you can't work properly until you properly rest. And this is a huge fucking snowball, and I see it happen to me, and I see it happen to others, and it fucking sucks. Hopefully, this is only something that we will have to deal early on. When it came to Fleeting Hours, we were already in the flow, and most of the stuff that happened, it wasn't like, oh man, I wasn't accounting for this or whatever. It was more like, this looks nice, and I can release it as it is. But if I had like one more day to work on it, if I expand this dialogue a little bit, what if I change this scene, and now instead of this happening for this completely pointless reason, now it's because this character is kind of like coercing this character, or like trolling them or whatever. And that's how the Christmas patch ended up being one day with almost no plot to something that can spread along 3 days, and there's a bunch of dialogue and whatever. All of the little stuff from this character being mad at this character, and being there being drugs involved, like fictional drugs involved, but all of this stuff, all of this stuff being added to the game is at the end what I feel like. I haven't seen anyone going like, oh, I didn't like the plot for the Christmas patch, or oh, there's this bug or this bug. No, it's clean. Like, we knew the moment we released it, we knew, hey man, this shit looks amazing. Like, at this point, if people don't like it, it's subjective. Like, they don't like it for their reasons, but we are proud of what we put out. And I can say that about Fleeting Hours, and that's why I want to remake the game. But I can't say that about the Shota patch, and I can't say that about the Christmas patch. And in general, I can kind of say that about the Halloween, even though we haven't finished it. And that's just pretty much what we want to do with Journey Abroad. We look at stuff, we see potential for growth, and we also know that there's a spiral that you never come out of when you start saying, we'll get to this later. That's a trap. Later piles on. You never have time for later because you have stuff to do now. And then later gets more stuff put on the pile of later. And then you get more stuff put on the pile of later. And then the pile is so big that you start, well, maybe this is not exactly necessary to change. Let's get this one off. And then at the end you get a product that you're like, man, listen, I like this. But if it was today, I would have done a lot of shit very different and get it right the first time around. And that's what we're doing with Journey Abroad. We're making something that I just realized that's the wrong logo on the fucking thing. I'm sorry, I'm digressing. I just realized that let me just, final spoiler before I go. Any bloodless spoilers today? No, not today. I already spoiled something like story-wise, but not in terms of ta-da! Let's pretend this is the thing that is there. Journey Abroad. It's now live on national TV. Ta-da! Well, let's pretend that's a thing. Shortcut. Will you guys consider a 6-week or 2-month release schedule for the first release until you have the foundation of the games? I don't want to see any of you getting burned out. I mean, we're already doing a 2-month for Journey Abroad. Listen, I get what you're saying, and I appreciate you for that shortcut. I really do. I understand where you're coming from, and I honestly appreciate the fact that you're worried about us. However, some people work good on pressure. We are tired, yes, and maybe in the long run, maybe when we're older and we can't do this shit, maybe then it will be a bad idea. But we're human. We have limits, and there will come a time where we will be forced to stop. Somehow, some way, our bodies will find a way to say, "Hey, man, it's too much." And I feel we're still in the borderline because, yeah, sure, burning out is bad. Of course it is. But we are not only devs, we are fans, we are creators, we are passionate about what we do, Just taking a stop, taking a break, going slow, it's not in our DNA. Like, I can't not think about the game. I can't not think about sitting down and try to develop. It's not in me to take a step back and not be developing. I can't turn off like that, and I'm sure that Isaac also can't turn off like that. This is early on. This is just something that we need to get. We just need to get through this, but we also want to get through this without sacrificing, without sacrificing quality. Without doing the thing that we did in Fleeting Hours, which was, no, it's good enough. No, it's not. Like, it's gonna annoy me for the fuck. It annoys me today. The things that I failed, the things that I didn't oversee. I should have been more present. I should have been over other people's work more. I should have been have more rigor, have more zeal in the stuff that I was doing in Fleeting Hours. It was a learning process, but a lot of it is like, I find it mediocre. I think that I can improve Fleeting Hours so much, and I don't want to go through that with Journey Abroad, and I don't want to go through that with Bloodlust. I know that we are desperately needing funds, and I know that the faster we put this out, the faster we're going to get supporters. But I just refuse to put out a mediocre game, and if we want to do something that we know it's our best, or at least pretty damn close to it, and I know we are a little bit burnt out right now, but we'll power through it. We will be there for each other, and we are patient with each other. We say it takes as long as it takes, but there's some urgency. We need to release this. We need to start making funds. We need to be able to properly pay our team. We need to be able to hire more people. Right now we're going severely into debt, but there's life isn't all about money. Life isn't all about, I don't know, man. I lived a very blessed life. I was incredibly broke when I was a kid. Incredibly broke, like no lights, sometimes no food. I grew up in. I'm from '85. I'm just going to give you guys just a very short story. It's going to take 5 minutes tops, and then I'm going to let you guys go. I was born in '85. I grew up basically in the '90s. I was 5 in 1990, and basically I went all the way to 15 until the year 2000. So it was literally my youth. I literally grew up in the '90s. And I grew up in a place called Bairro das Galinheiras, which is basically a ghetto in Lisbon. It's basically where they shove everybody that they say they are doing integration. So basically Portugal has a bunch of deals with African countries and Brazil and whatever, where it's kind of like the Schengen space for Europe, but Portugal also has it with a bunch of African countries like Cape Verde and Angola and whatever. So basically I was put in a place where you have a lot of people from different nationalities. I was, it was the ghettoest ghetto that you can imagine. And part of growing up dirt poor in that place, it just makes you not see money as the end all be all thing for everything. You know, and it's and I grew up in the 90s, man. Like everything felt, you know, that people were passionate about, even making TV commercials, music, everything felt like people were trying to make a change, trying to be a rebel, trying to, you know, actually being influencing a culture, but in a positive way. And that made me into a person that I don't care much about, you know, valuables. I care more about values, like intrinsic values from people. And this was shown to me, like, just because society shows you an idea where it's the Instagram bitch with a bunch of money and the Ferrari, and this is what you should look for, I couldn't care less about those things. And then people like to paint women, especially online. They like to make this red pill, blue pill bullshit, like there's no real women that, you know. I feel like people that with the most shortcomings are the ones that try to make the most shortcomings for others. Like, if I lower the value of everyone else around me, maybe I won't feel as shitty for being the shitty person that I am. And that fucking hurts me, but that's not the type of person that I am. I am the type of person that I was raised on values. I was raised to be put yourself on a fucking high horse and demand from yourself more than you will demand from anyone else. And I'm proud of being that way. But I was not just told that, I was shown that. The biggest proof that I got in my life that money doesn't mean shit. And I swear to God, let the fucking lightning just fall on my house right now and kill me if this didn't happen. My father was a Marine. For a lot of my life early on, he wasn't present. He was basically in missions. He fought the Ultramar War, whatever. My father was a bit of an alcoholic, and he used to beat up my mom. I was afraid of my father for many years. By the time I was 8 years old, I started practicing martial arts. Not because I was afraid of every kid on a ghetto of in one of the worst places that you can grow up on, where it's like dog eat dog world. I wasn't afraid of the people that were outside there that could rob me, that could try to assault me, or whatever. I was afraid of my own father. For many years, I was afraid of my own father. And, you know, I know that you might listen to some pain on my voice, but it doesn't matter because I honestly forgive him for everything that has happened. He's human. He has flaws. God rest his soul. And God punished him in so many ways. But one day when I was 15, my father beat my mom again. At that time, I was already living by myself because, again, I didn't want to live with my father. I was basically going to school and I had 2 jobs. By the time I was 15, I was living by myself, close to my parents. I had 2 jobs and I was studying. And I went to my mom's house. My mom is in the kitchen crying, and I asked her what's up, and my father beat her. And I told my father if he ever raised his hand to my mom again, I will kill him. That day, I was so angry. I grabbed my mom and I told her, I already told you guys a billion times to fucking divorce. If you can't like stand with each other, just divorce already. And I grabbed my mom and I took her back to my home with me. Not gonna lie, it was probably 2 of the best months of my entire life. Because imagine a guy that barely has any energy to cook or clean the house or do whatever. I'm fucking 15. I have 2 jobs and I'm going to school. I had bills to pay, but I was like trying to go through perseverance through life. I'll be like, I will see the light at the end of the tunnel. And suddenly, I am having fresh meals. I am having my clothes always washed and folded, and my house is clean. And oh my God, living with my mom, Jesus Christ! If I could love that woman any more than I did at that time, I would. But you know, it's my mom, and the problem is my father had type 2 diabetes. And later down the road, you guys know what happened to my father. My father got cancer and my father died. You know, this is old story. But here's the thing that makes you look like, man, there's still fucking real women out there. My father beat my mom. My mom hadn't talked to my father in 2 months. She put the divorce papers and she was going to divorce him. She hadn't spoke to that man for 2 months. There was nothing from my mom to get from being with that man? Nothing that he had nothing to give her. Basically, he will give her, just so you know how much my father would annoy my mom. My mom had hypertension, and my father once felt my mom feel so shitty that her blood pressure started going in the 20s. We had to take her to the hospital, and the doctors wouldn't be able to lower her blood pressure. They connected it to intravenous stuff and whatnot. And basically, at the end, the doctor told us, if your mom had arrived 1 hour later, we wouldn't be able to save her. She would have died. That's how much my father used to antagonize my mom. Okay? My father was antagonizing my mom because he wanted to eat more bread, and she was like, you can't, you have diabetes type 2. What the fuck are you doing? You're killing yourself. My father is yelling because he wants more salt in the food, and she's like, you're killing yourself. And my father wants to drink alcohol, and she doesn't give him. You're killing yourself. And one day he just can't take it. He beats her up. He smacks her. That's when I take her back to my house, and she spends 2 months without seeing him. 2 months later, my father had like a thrombosis, the third one. Sent him to the hospital for 8 months. When we got to the hospital to see my father, me and my siblings, my father didn't recognize anyone. For the next month, my father would not recognize anyone. From the day my father was put in the hospital, and for the next 8 months, my mom, who was beat up, mistreated by that man, went to visit him every single fucking day. When my father started recognizing people again, my mom tried to get my father, who was bedridden at the time, to walk again. And the doctors said many times to my mom, your husband will never walk again. With my father crying, with pain, with whatever it was, my mom never gave up on him. She said, I'm not gonna let you get bedridden. You're gonna walk again, motherfucker, because I can't take care of you if you're bedridden. I can't carry you to the bathroom. I can't do all of that. You will walk again. And my father walked again. My mom willed a man that beat her up, treated her wrongly, couldn't give her anything, wasn't rich, wasn't giving. She willed that man back to life. She was his strength when he didn't have strength for himself. Because my mom was an old school woman, like a real woman. She took care of a man that would be nothing more than a burden for him. But she loved him. She made her vows. Even when things were tough, she was with him. In good and in disease, whatever vows she made, she was living by that shit. Meanwhile, one of my best friends had a sister, one of the sexiest women you will ever see in your life. Typical Instagram model, perfect. And she started dating this dude, which he had a bunch of businesses. He had like bars and shit in like expensive places in Lisbon and whatever. Drives a Ferrari, super cool guy, super, yay, the guy that everybody dreams of being. Later down the road, still young, we're talking early 20s. They were dating for like 2 years. She was living with him, and she developed lung cancer. She developed lung cancer, and after a few weeks of hearing her screaming, hearing her in pain, going through the process of chemo or losing her hair, a few months in that whole situation, he grabs her, takes her to her mom's house where my best friend used to live. I think he still lives there. No, I think he moved with a girl not too long ago, like a couple of weeks ago. I still need to check up on that. But he went to her mom's house, and he said, "Sorry, I can't handle this. It's too much for me. I'm too young. Here's your daughter. And he bounced and he never saw her again. The guy with the Ferrari, the guy with all the businesses. And the Instagram model princess suddenly was given back to her mom, the only person that genetically wouldn't turn her back on her. I know that there's people out there that say that women ain't shit. And I know that there's a lot of women out there saying that men ain't shit. But like one of my favorite comedians usually say, you need to find out what it is about you that keeps attracting ain't shit people. Because it's you. You're the one who's attracting ain't shit people. I know that there's people that are afraid to be cheated on, but why? If you get cheated on, it doesn't say anything about you. It doesn't make you inadequate. It says everything about the other person. It says that that person is a cheater. I was told by my mom, I was taught by my mom, not told. I was shown that people values, are above everything else. It wasn't because my father was rich that my mom took care of him. I saw love. I saw real things, not societal structures, not, I saw real values, real people doing real things that you only wish someone will do that for you. We think maybe my parents will do that for me. I saw my mom do that for my father. And I saw people that swore love forever, the perfect guy with the perfect car and the perfect house and the perfect life, instantly shit on a person that was going through the worst period of her short life. She died. Regardless of what the outcome will be, if she died, or if they could both go through it and have a story for the rest of their life, a story of perseverance, like I stood with her against cancer and we won. Regardless if you win or lose, fight the battle with her. I know that you can be a bitch and go like, man, I can't handle this. But what kind of man are you? And if you won't stay by your man when he needs your help the most, what kind of woman are you? I don't want to judge people too harshly, but I was raised on different values than the ones that are mostly preached by society, especially online. We know all this red pill, blue pill bullshit. I've seen the real thing. I believe in people, and I believe in personal values. And that holds true for everything I do in life. I hope this story is a story that you can take with you for the rest of your life as a reminder that there's more than values, there's more than money, there's more than all this bullshit that people need to convince you that they are important, because if they have to be judged on their character, if they have to be judged on who they are morally, ethically, then there's not a lot to see there. And if there's not a lot to see there, what's their edge against every other man in society? Believe in people. Believe in real people. They're still out there. I promise you they're still out there. I'm dating an amazing woman for 16 years. Through ups and downs, through discussions that we had, but shit, we talked it out. We talked it out. Believe in people. There's more than values. There's more than money out there. And bros, listen, this shit might work and it might not work. But if it doesn't work out, it won't be for the wrong reasons. We will continue working in this game passionately. And yes, we're tired. But as usual, we will find a way to persevere. We will do it. And it's all going to be because of you guys. As long as you guys don't give up on us, we won't give up on this. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast this week, even though I'm super exhausted. It probably wasn't the best podcast it could be. But it is what it is. Once again, I'm super appreciative of you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you once more for watching. I wish you love, fortune, and health. Godspeed, everybody. See you next week.
きてばかり寝坊しちゃった。思い出したのは君のことです。起きて